Hey Callie, wild food that can save your life. Well, let's have a proper look, but it's gonna rain soon and I've got to get back to Tara as quick as I possibly can or I'm gonna get drenched. Let's have a proper look, shall we? So, wild food that can save your life. I've come into this woodland because I know in this woodland somewhere there's some birch polypore. Birch polypore is something that we use all the time. See, we don't get jabs, so like flu jabs and all that sort of jazz. So what we do is we use the birch polypore. If I can find it, I'll show it to you. And basically the birch polypore really helps to promote gut health. Basically, it won't share its host with any other bacteria. So on that basis, it's probably one of the best in nature. I mean, even the Iceman had them, right? Because of the parasites in the birch polypore, here comes the rain again. They're natural parasites. And as you know, I went to the hospital recently and they checked me for all sorts of different parasites and none at all. And I truly believe it is because of this birch polypore that we use. Yeah, it literally won't share its host with any other pathogen or nasties that you're gonna get. And it's an absolute perfect one. But typically, it's not what we're here for Tara today. That I'm only gonna find roadside and not out here. Tara is literally bugged down at home whilst it's still raining. Like I said before, I don't wear any waterproofs very often, do I? Unless we were in Wales in that one, right? But yeah, in this video, I've got 3 to go over. Hopefully find all 3 of them. Fingers crossed, eh? I'll see you in a minute. Well, for the time being, this one, oak bark. Wow, those are oak leaves. The oak bark. This tree's a little bit too old, but we use oak bark as a decoction in tea or for tea. We basically boil the bark for a good 10 minutes, let it steep, and then drink that. That is typically used for us when we're out on the road and we get dysentery, so diarrhea, sickness, dicky tummies, stuff like that. As previously mentioned, the birch polypore, it's not often we have to dip into the oak. Sometimes we will, if there's a little bit of something that we can't get rid of or shift. I mean, basically, the oak bark does what Imodium does, right? And we could pop Imodium all day long and it have no effect. And maybe it's because we use the strong astringency of the oak tree and the oak bark to actually push that out of our bodies and start to repair. It's almost got that old cough medicine sort of taste. That's how you know that it's definitely going to do the job. But always consult your doctors, consult references and anything like that. It's what we use. I'm not necessarily saying you should use it because you may have other techniques. Let me know down in the comments what other techniques or other wild medicinals that you might use for similar problems. I mean, we've gone over one before with the bracken root. Bracken root helps, especially if you make it into a tea, helps to expel worms. So if you've got parasitic worms or your dog has, it's another really good thing to use, especially at this time of year. You're not going to be out and about as much. You're going to be bugging down a little bit more, and it gives time for those things to fester and you to get touch or get back in touch with your body. And you go, oh, that itch don't feel right, do it? We've never had the problem, we've never had the issue, but we know it works. Our friend Steve, love you, man. You're absolutely awesome. He said like a pea-sized roll of tobacco for a dog. Apparently it's non-toxic. I don't know how true that is, allegedly, right? But apparently the worms don't like it in the canine's gut, so they literally just like, get out of here, and they go absolutely mad over it and just clear the dogs out. We typically use as a first port of call rabbit or hare or raw carrot, things like that help to scrape out dogs' intestines and clean and rejuvenate and revive, basically, and soothe, right? Anytime he gets an itchy bum now, as if he tries to make it into one of our curries or our chilies. And he's just trying to cool his little cheeks down, eh? But yeah, remember, this bad boy is probably your best option for sickness and diarrhea, especially just to help you out, prop you up. But always consult a doctor, always consult other references and books. It's what we use. Now, let's try and find this birch polypore, shall we? Sadly, this, there you go. That birch there, I knew it was here in this woodland, and I thought hopefully because of the damp and the heat that we've had that I might be able to get a birch polypore bracket off of it, but it hasn't got any on there, so I've got to keep looking. And this rain, man, this it might look fancy, but it's blimmin' horrible. So yeah, I'm just like cloud dodging today, cloud dodging. Now the other thing that I'm specifically looking for is Tara's under the weather. It's that time of month and she hasn't stopped at the moment, and it's kind of getting to her. And because we don't use OTCs, over the counter stuff, we incorporate a lot of natural remedies for any of our issues. And yeah, the specific thing I'm looking for is dead nettle. Now dead nettle, it's the same as stinging nettles, but dead nettle isn't stingy. It has less vitamin K or no vitamin K in it, and that's great for me to consume as well. So not only does it help with menstrual issues, it helps me just to gain a bit of sustenance and iron, mainly iron with dead nettle, and stinging nettle too. But because it hasn't got as many bad vitamins for me in it, I will use the dead nettle over the stinging nettle for me. Tara uses the stinging nettle, especially for a famous potato soup sort of thing. Yeah, it's a bloody good look. But I am not going to find that in this woodland. It's very rare you'll find them in any woodland, so I've got to go roadside. If it gets noisy, I'm sorry, but stick around and let's go and find some. See, when you're out in the woods, always got to take your time coming in and out, because you never know who may spot you. You see, so you got to be real on it. If you don't want your spots busted, don't get busted coming in and out of any woodlands that you may frequent, or that you've got a prospective camp set up somewhere. Yeah, just be a bit cautious when you're going in and out. It's a real top tip just to keep yourself undetected or just below radar. All good, all good. Go, go. Why? Oh, I mean, there's puddles as well, so I've got to be quick when the cars are coming and things like that. I've literally, we call it a fun run. You got to run past the puddles before the cars catch up with you. Otherwise, you're just getting soaked. There you go, watch this. Whoa. You see what I mean? They come in fast. They come in fast, and you got to kind of have that wits about you. But yeah, dead nettle, where are you, dead nettle? I'm hearing a lot of shooting, or we definitely heard a lot of shooting last night, poachers everywhere. But yeah, you can't just go running through the woods without your wits about you. You either get shot at or disturb their hunting, and yeah, it's not wise for anyone. Have a look at this though. Look at that weather coming across. I'm surviving it for now. I mean, it seems to be brightening up. It's not such a bad thing. It does seem to be brightening up, but it kind of puts a rush on this medicine that I'm trying to find. It can really throw you out. And obviously they look like stinging nettles. So I've got to constantly retake and keep re-looking, just to make sure that I'm not getting stinging nettles. Well, obviously I'm going to know because you sting your fingers, but just make sure that I am getting exactly what I want to get, right? See, naturally at this time of year we'd be foraging for chestnuts, yeah, but you see how small they are. They're so small this year, and I don't know if that's because the trees have had a mast year this year. So a mast year for trees is basically when they produce loads and loads and loads of fruit, or acorns or seeds, whatever you want to call. They produce just loads and loads. And traditionally it was, I think, the masts and the masts of the nauticals, so the boats coming into port, signified that last year, that year of plenty. But this year it's like, yeah, it's definitely a year of plenty, I'll give you that. It is a year of plenty, but they're not big. You know, usually we're getting sweet chestnuts that sort of size, and this year, I mean, you saw it was no bigger than my finger, you know, real tiny. So I'm wondering if that happens. I've never really noticed it before. I suppose because we move around and we've got different environments and different climates or climatical changes, we haven't really noticed too much. But the reason we're in the area that we're in is because this is our typical best foraging sort of area. We know the routes, we've made maps, we've literally marked out every square foot of what we need for us in our everyday, right? But just the fruit this year is, yeah, it's a little bit poor where we are anyway. I've seen other people, they've got some pretty decent sized ones, but for us, no. Anyway, I've come across a bit of an obstacle. Bit of an obstacle, eh? Yeah. Either my feet are going to get wet or I've got to find another way around. Now, the grand old Duke of York, march them up, march them down. Nah, I'm just going to go through, I think. Wet feet, but anything for Tara to make her feel better, eh? Ooh, now, if you remember back from an old video, I had the Nomad walk. Yeah, look into that one. That wasn't the Nomad walk. But yeah, have a look at the Nomad walk video. If I can find it, I'll put it up here. And yeah, it's a bit of a laugh. Now I've come into another woodland just because I know in here there's also birch trees. So hopefully I can try and find that birch polypore as well. I'm not having much luck on the country lanes for the dead nettle. But I'm hoping I can get a bit of birch polypore in here. Now that's what we're saying. You know, we could be some of the most knowledgeable sort of people for our lifestyle. And the thing is, you know, preppers, if you haven't seen any sort of preppers, go over and have a look at Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. They're absolutely brilliant. They're preppers. And although we say we don't need to prep because in our lifestyle, we're out here living it 24/7, over 11 years now. And that is the big issue, is because sometimes we fail to prep. When you have a menstrual cycle or you have something wrong with you, you've got to go, shit, I've got to go and find that now. So this is what I'm doing today. It is that if you're not going to prep for that situation, you have to be on your toes. You need to know where your medicinals are, where your edibles are, what sort of things that you can gather to get you through those moments, right? If it's not necessarily a matter of life and death, it's a matter of being comfortable and uncomfortable. I'd rather be comfortable, and yeah, sometimes it's good just to have a backup, as I've always said, just in case. There was an awesome chicken of the woods down here, and because it's rained, that's not great, but it's not what we're looking for, although it is another good edible. We done a chicken curry for our vegan friends, and they were like, oh, there's meat in it, and we're like, no, it's chicken of the woods. It's a mushroom, it's not meat. We found out that a lot of vegans or vegetarians will eat mushrooms to emulate meat. Personally, I like the real thing, but chicken of the woods is like the closest you can get to like that cube chicken that you used to get from Iceland and things like that. I don't know, let me know where you get them from. But yeah, it's a really good mushroom. Not too many medicinal properties to it, if I'm honest, but yeah, it is another good one. Birch over here, so hopefully we'll be in with a shout. I think I've got one buried in the bottom of my bag somewhere, and so it's not too much a hassle if not, but I'd really like to get fresh if I can. I'm kind of doing a huge big circuit. Hopefully this rain just holds off for a minute. So as you can see, lovely birch, beautiful thing. Another birch there, another one there, another one there, well, two there. So I'll go and check those out as well. Not on this tree, not on here. It's not on here. Hey, awesome. They're tiny at the moment, but you can see on here, yeah, that is super fresh. So I'm probably, yeah, I'm gonna take that one. Wow, look how pristine that is. Awesome, good medicine. That's going in the pouch. One more important thing to find, and it's not going to be in here. I mean, I'm not too wet. I've got my wool jumper underneath. Just in case I do get wet, that's going to keep me warm. I'm fairly dry, but as long as you stay under the tree cover, sometimes I'll find the biggest laden leafed holly, and stand underneath that, or an oak tree. And you know what, as much as airy-fairy it might sound, I always give thanks to the tree. You know why? Some of these big trees have been around since the bubonic plague. They have seen the rise and fall of man, sort of thing, in their respective time frames. They've seen destruction and greed and all that jazz. So I think it's really important that you should always thank, you know, our ancestors, I like to think they were. Thank them for the cover, thank them for the food, thank them for just being there, you know. There was an old friend of mine, a tree surgeon. He said that when you cut a tree down, when it's dying, you can see when the plagues were certain times of year. If you count backwards through the rings, you can see when there was extreme weather events. You see all sorts of things that a tree just tells you from its roots. It's absolutely mad, isn't it? But yeah, nature is definitely good medicine, whichever way you look at it, whether you're eating it or just out enjoying it. Right, well, it's starting to come in now. You can see the sky behind me. It is starting to come in now, and I still haven't managed to find any dead nettle, which is what I really wanted. But I've managed to find some yarrow. Yarrow is another good one, used by Achilles. He was known as being indestructible. You know, this guy would never bleed out, never die, sort of thing. And yeah, he used it because it helps to staunch bleeding, and it helps to regulate bleeding as well. So basically, it's just a backup. It is a backup for Tara, because I can't find anything. This weather is going to get me smashed wet, drenched, and yeah, I don't like that, because then basically I'm going to go home and bring all this moisture back into the tent, and yeah, it's just going to be like a bloody steam room, isn't it? But it's not too bad because it's not cold yet. It's not cold at this time of year. So hopefully the yarrow will do it for her. Always do your own research as well. Yarrow is a good one, especially for me with my clotting disorder. If I cut myself, nick yourself, you know, you can powder it. You can actually chew it up and put it on cuts, and it'll staunch that bleeding. It'll stop your bleeding out, because it basically tightens the capillaries. And yeah, you'll be fine. But this weather, yeah, I'm not liking it. Not liking it one little bit. Oh, I'm still fairly dry. It's not too bad. But nah, I'm gonna have to get a wiggle on, as Tara says, and go back, make her a tea, and hopefully try and get her in a bit of a more stable, well, a more stable place, as it were. It's never nice bleeding and not dying, right? So I'm just on my way back to Tara, and I'll tell you what, this is how hard it is. You see all this lot along the roadside? Dead nettles are right there. You see these? You see the little white bits on them? Luckily, my way back to the woods is through this little residential, like village sort of thing. It's like a couple of houses here, but I found it. So these are great. Always look for that sort of thing. You know, they're part of the mint family as well, so they've got a square stem. If you can see that on there. But yeah, this is the golden pot. This is what we came for. This is what we want. And yeah, brilliant. Thank you for being here. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway, Cully, if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, like, share around, subscribe, all that jazz. It really does help. And yeah, winter's coming, and we've got a lot more for you. Tune in, stay tuned, hit that notification bell, and until next time, happy hopping.